Alright, so in this video we're going to enable an analog input and an analog output on a DeltaV, on our DeltaV control system on our trainers here at your college. So first off, we want to go to our I/O because we're dealing with an input for our analog input, and our card 1 is where our analog inputs are, card 2 is where our analog outputs are. So first do the analog input. You can see all of these channels here are grayed out. To enable them, they'll be colored. Once we enable them, they'll be colored. If I right click and go to properties on channel 1, there's an enabled box here that I can check off. That'll enable the analog input. Device tag is where we can give the actual device a name. So if we want to, we're going to be adding a level transmitter, so we'll call this LT-100. The description can be left blank, or we can leave that it's an analog input channel. Channel type, we can select either an analog input channel, which would just be a strict 4 to 20 milliamps, or we could select a HART analog input channel. The HART enables digital communication between the DeltaV control system and the transmitter. So we're just going to use the 4 to 20 milliamp signal. Click OK. And then click yes, and we can see now that our channel has color. That indicates that it has been added to the system and it's enabled. We'll download our controller, click yes, and we can see that our blue triangle that was beside our controller and beside our I/O is now gone. That's because the change has now been downloaded to the DeltaV control system. So we're going to add an analog output as well to card 2. Card 2 is all of our analog outputs. We have 8 channels, just like we have 8 possible analog input channels that we can add to our card 1. So on card 2, we'll right click, properties, click enable, and we're going to be working with a level valve, so we're going to call this LV-100 to match our loop number of 100. And we also want this to be just a strict 4 to 20 milliamp output. We're not going to use any of the HART signaling. Click OK. It's saying that it already has a device signal tag. It's because we changed this tag name, and that's why it's prompting us. We click yes. And we will download this to our controller as well. Close, and there. Now we have an analog input and an analog output added to our DeltaV system. They're both enabled and ready for use. If we go over to our control system, you can see channel 1 on both card 1 and card 2 are lit up. You can see that we already have them wired in. If I was to unplug or disconnect our level transmitter, you can see channel 1 starts to flash. So this is nice for troubleshooting. It indicates an open loop on that device. So we'll go ahead and plug this back in, and we'll see that channel light stop flashing, indicating that our loop is now closed. So we have our differential pressure transmitter here. It's going to be measuring level on our vessel here, and this control valve right here is going to be used to control the level of water that's flowing into our vessel.